Do you not be happy with me as a translator of the books?
Okay, I want Yulia. Let Yulia go ahead and read it, Svetlana. Thanks.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well,
Yulia?
do you hear me?
Yes. I'm going to help you. Do you not be happy with me as the translator of the books of you?
And maybe I have some problems with the sound.
I hear you fine.
You're clear, Yulia.
Clear.
Слышно, да.
Clear. Do you not be happy with me as the translator of the books of you?
Yes.
Yulia, do you think that's funny?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why? Do you understand this? Aliesa, do you understand this?
No, I cannot understand this.
You cannot.
I can't. I don't get it.
Uh-huh. Okay. And does anybody understand it?
I do. I do. There's a grammar mistake here. So he can't be a translator. He can't be a translator because he doesn't know any grammar.
You said a grammar mistake?
Yes. You cannot say, do you be happy? Are you happy with me? That's the right way to say it.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Is that the only is that the only grammar mistake in there?
No, not the only one. Are you happy with me as a translator of your books?
Okay. All right.
Of the books, well, written by you, of your books. Just
okay. All right. So now listen, it's got grammar mistakes in it, right? Is it understandable?
It is.
It is understandable. So even though it has grammar mistakes in it, it's understandable. It communicates, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So if it communicates, it's okay, right?
No, not quite. Because,
well, okay.
Because it sounds funny. It sounds funny.
Okay, it sounds funny. Here's what I want all of you to notice, and that is that in translation and in communication, things are not black and white. Things are not black and white. That there is gray area in here. There's a lot of gray area. All right. Let me ask another one. Can you see this? Well, okay. Svetlana, thanks. Let's give Yekaterina. Katya?
Okay.
How about you read this?
Okay. Sorry, but I'm going to have to issue you a summons for regular grammar and writing without an apostrophe.
Without what? It's hard to see. It's an apostrophe. Apostrophe.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Yekaterina, please. Sveta, thanks. Yekaterina, would you read what's on the side of the truck?
Me and well as produce.
Does everyone know what produce is?
Oh yeah, good something. Well, good.
No, it's fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
Produce is fruits and vegetables. All right. Produce is fruits and vegetables. And so this guy is driving a truck, and he's stopped by a policeman. And the policeman says, "I'm going to issue you a summons." What's a summons?
Not quite sure. Yeah.
Anyway,
Is it a fine? What's a fine? Is it a fine?
No? Maria, what do you think a summons is?
I think it's someone.
It's a
mistaken this word.
it's a citation. You know, when you get it's a ticket. Sometimes you call it a ticket.
Okay,
A ticket.
Mm-hmm.
A traffic ticket. So this man is he is. Does somebody have a dog in the background?
I'm hearing background noise as well.
There's background noise. Okay, that's good. Thank you. Somebody has a background noise.
Yes, yes,
Not
yes.
me.
So, good. So this is, sometimes you call people like this, you call them grammar police.
Mm-hmm.
I know people like that. They're called grammar police. And there are jokes about grammar police, people who will correct everyone's grammar.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
It's a characteristic of someone who is overly pedantic.
Mm-hmm.
Overly pedantic.
Mm-hmm.
So grammar police are dangerous, but grammar police, despite grammar police, do not improve communication.
Mm-hmm.
Grammar police do not improve communication.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now that's good. I want you to look at some pictures. We said the other day that humor, ladies, somebody has some background noise, and I'm not sure what it is, and it's very distracting. Very distracting. So maybe if you're not speaking, if you turn off your mics, that would help.
Maybe echo, yeah.
There's an echo. All right. Professor Marston in the chat has distinguished between prescriptive grammar and descriptive grammar.
Mm-hmm.
You all know the difference between the two?
No.
Alessia, do you know what the difference is between descriptive grammar and prescriptive grammar?
No.
I have to. No, I can't say the difference.
Dalia, do you know the difference between descriptive grammar and prescriptive grammar?
Yes, I guess so, because when you talk about prescriptive grammar, the grammar which you need to use in communication or written or speech in a way, but descriptive grammar is very right grammar and some rules which you have to use in oral and written forms, which is just descriptive in any book, grammar book. I think so.
Just a minute. Stay right there.
Okay.
У кого там шумы такие? Вообще ничего не слышно. У кого-то телевизор на заднем плане работает? Или кошка шкребет ногтями, или что там непонятно.
Okay. In English, we have to speak in English.
Sorry.
This is a comprehensive grammar of the English language, and it's written by Quirk and Greenbaum. Do all of you know this book?
Mm.
This is it's a marvelous book. It has 1,779 pages. 1,779 pages. And it's a descriptive grammar of English. It's a descriptive grammar in English. It doesn't say these are the rules. It says this is the way people talk. These are things that we have observed in speech. And that's prescriptive grammar gives you the rules. When you're teaching English 1, the introductory, you give people the rules. But later on, as people learn the rules, they learn that not everyone always speaks by the rules, and the rules are not always as important as we once thought. And the way people talk depends on a whole variety of factors. The way people talk depends on, well, somebody tell me, what sort of factors determine how people talk?
How people talk?
How do,
Well, it depends on who you talk to, on your interlocutor, right? On the circumstances. Huh?
And what? So how about it depends on your educational level? Yes.
It does also.
Okay, and Yekaterina, what else does it depends on your educational level? On what else?
Maybe on your age.
Your age, very good, very good. Ksenia, what does it depend on?
Maybe experience.
Yep. Maria, what does it depend on?
Maybe audience.
Audience?
Talk. Yeah.
Yes, good, 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 good. Alessia, what does it depend on?
Maybe also your own wish. Your own wish to communicate.
Yeah. Anyone else have an idea?
Just wanted to say it depends on your aim, what you want to.
Purpose of communication.
Okay, well,
Surrounding family.
it also depends, ladies, on where you live. Have you thought about that? On where you live?
That's about environment too.
I'm going to show you a few pictures.
Mm.
You see this first one? It says, "Y'all come back."
You all?
Y'all come back. Y'all come back. Not you all. Y'all come back. Y'all come back. Y'all come back. What is it? Maria, would y'all come back? What do you think this means?
I think you are all come back.
Okay.
No?
Okay. Y'all come back. Y'all come back. Y'all come back. And this y'all, who talks like that? Who talks like that in American English?
I think it's Afro-American people. Yes? No?
Not all American people.
It's said in Texas.
American.
It's widely said in Texas. It's widely said in the South.
Not in Iowa. In Iowa, you never hear y'all unless it's from a Texan.
Okay, so what do they say in Iowa?
You guys.
You guys. You guys. You guys. You guys come back. And this means you all, everybody, come back. But in different parts of the country, it's said in different ways. English doesn't distinguish between singular and plural. That's a deficiency of the English language. And this is one way to compensate. Y'all come back. Y'all come back. Okay,
there are some parts of the South where you will hear people say, you all. You all.
You all. But it's pronounced y'all. Y'all.
Y'all in Texas, yep.
Yekaterina, tell your colleague students that they're all doing a good job.
Y'all are doing a good job.
Y'all doing a good job. Y'all doing a good
fine.
job. Y'all are doing fine. Okay? Y'all are doing fine.
I don't know if you can hear the difference between Professor Lero and Professor Smith, but I would like you each to say it again and then see if you can distinguish.
Okay, here I go. Y'all come back. Y'all come back.
No, I meant doing fine.
Oh, y'all doing fine.
Oh, doing fine.
I'm doing fine. Yulia, can you say that? Y'all doing fine?
Y'all doing fine.
Y'all doing fine. The other thing that they do in Texas is that they tend to drop to allied verbs. So I'm saying, you're saying, y'all doing fine, and not y'all are doing fine. Y'all doing fine. Okay. So here we are with some regional different. I want to look at another regional difference. Hang
You
on.
have a few minutes at the end of the photos, Professor Lero. I'm going to try and get a clip of Ann Richards to share.
Okay.
Oh, lovely.
Do you see the photo that we're looking at is titled Cranberry. 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 Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Svetlana, would you, let's see, Svetlana, what do you see on this photograph?
What do I see? Well, I see some one-story buildings, well, two of them, then a couple of cars, and
what does it say?
well, what does what say? Blueberry Ford, Cranberry Motors. They have they are named after different berries.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. That's good. Blueberry Ford and Cranberry Motors. And what do you think this is? What is this?
What this is? I can't really make out what is inside.
Well, let me ask you a couple questions. Is this a restaurant?
Well,
Is this a restaurant?
Could have been. Could be.
Is it a restaurant? Ksenia, is this, what do you think this is?
I think it is service for repair of cars.
Right, they sell cars. They sell cars. And all of you know...
Cars market.
Automobiles. It's a, yeah, Maria, Blueberry Ford and Cranberry Motors, all right? And a Ford, you know, is a brand of
Yes.
very popular brand of automobile in the United States. I drive a Ford myself. I like Fords. So Blueberry Ford and Cranberry Motors. Does anybody think this is funny?
Maybe berry and cars.
Maria, why? What? Why do you think it's funny?
It's funny because there are words berry and cars. How they connected between them.
It's a very funny name. To me,
it's unusual when you see cars and berry together.
What would you expect? Like, for a place that sells cars, Maria, what would you expect the name of it to be?
Expect?
Yeah.
When I see berry, I think it's something sweet, but when I see combination cranberry, blueberry, I think it's very strange for me.
It's very strange. You would want this to be called Texas Motors or Shestakov Ford.
Yes.
You know, that's the way those kinds of things are named, you know. IKEA Ford, something like that. Budenkova Motors. Those are good names, all right?
Yes.
So, okay, so these are very unusual. Now, do you think, let's go back to where we started. Remember that we're talking about regional differences. Regional differences. Where is this, did I take this photograph in Texas? Where did I take this photograph?
God knows.
Who's got an idea about where this photograph came from?
Give us a clue. I mean, it's kind of difficult to guess.
I'm trying to see the license plates on the car.
It's hard to see.
See an internet, what does mean?
Well, so where in the United States are cranberries grown?
Yes, I know the blue cranberry.
Cranberry.
Where are the grapes?
Cranberries. You know what a cranberry is, huh?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
We do.
So in the United States, cranberries are grown only in the Northeast, in Massachusetts and in Maine, We're discussing the picture cranberry.
What about blueberries?
Well, blueberries are blueberries are more widely grown, but the most delicious blueberries in the United States are grown in Maine, in the state of Maine. And this photograph, I took this photograph in Maine, in the state of Maine. All of you know where that is? It's the farthest northeast state in the United States. And it's about as far from Texas as you can go. And in Maine, these names are typical. They're not at all unusual. They're just names. All right. So far, so good. So we have one sign in the south. Y'all come back. We have Cranberry Motors. And let's look at this one. Okay. Okay. World Peace through Tex-Mex.
Tex-Mex.
Okay. World Peace through Tex-Mex. So what do you think?
Marketing.
So what does this mean?
Well, maybe Texas, it's Texas, and Mex, it's Mexico.
Yeah, what does that mean? World Peace through Tex-Mex. So everybody knows what world peace is, yes?
Yes.
What's world peace? World
Peace
peace.
of the world, probably.
Yeah, no war.
No war.
Prosperity. No war, prosperity. Okay, so world peace through Tex-Mex.
Why through Texas?
What does that mean? Julia, what is something that you might, how might you achieve world peace?
Well, I should think over it.
Yes, how could you achieve world peace?
I do not know. What do they do? Do they sell something or?
Yeah, Maria, how could you achieve world peace?
I don't understand anything because there are very strange background
noise.
sound. Yes,
Okay.
noise, very.
Okay, once again, ladies, we have some background noise. And I'm going to ask, unless you're speaking, I'm going to ask you to turn off your microphones.
Светлана Витальевна, вас слышно?
Hang on. Okay, hang on a second. Let's stay in English. Let's. Is that better? Okay. There's still some background noise. Please, everyone, please mute your microphone unless you're speaking.
Mine is mute.
Yours is not mute.
Not?
There, now it's in. Okay.
We know who is that, but
Who is
Светлана
that?
Витальевна, that's our professor, but she's talking.
Ah.
Светлана Витальевна.
Svetlana Mihailovna, could you turn off your microphone?
It's not that Svetlana, it's not Svetlana.
Oh, what? Okay, good. All right, here we go. Now I'm back to the question. World peace through Tex-Mex. We've been talking about ways to achieve world peace, and this particular sign says that one way to achieve world peace through Tex-Mex. Does anybody think this is funny?
Yes, it is.
Yeah? Daria, why do you think it's funny?
Yeah, I think it's funny because you see the title is in Spanish, further down, in Spanish. So I think Texas, yes, and Mex is Mexico.
Yeah.
So people who live there, I think they are Spanish or Latin American, they generate peace.
Okay,
They think that peace between Americans and them is the peace in all over the world.
okay, that's a good analysis. That's a good analysis, and that's good critical thinking. The question is, we are missing one important piece of information to explain this sign. And what's that piece of information? We don't know what Tex-Mex means. And you're right, that Tex means Texas and Mex means Mexico. I'm going to put another slide up now. The one is world peace through Tex-Mex. The sign is wait. The sign that we're looking at is Tex-Mex 2. Tex-Mex 2. So now that you know it's a restaurant, what kind of restaurant do you think it is? Maria. What kind of restaurant do you think it is?
I don't know, but maybe it's a restaurant very popular dish from chicken or maybe.
Okay, all right, good. That's good. Okay, you're doing well. Nadia, what do you think? No,
I think it's an international restaurant, so they use their food and goods.
Okay, Yekaterina, what do you think?
I always think that they offer some American and Mexican dishes.
Okay, American and Mexican dishes. Ksenia, what do you think?
Maybe it is fast food. Chicken, McDonald's.
Chicken McDonald's, okay.
Like a McDonald's.
Like a McDonald's, okay. Good answer. Maria, Alessia, Svetlana, what do you think? Any one of you?
Maybe a mixture of Mexican or South American food dishes.
Okay.
Yes,
Svetlana?
I share an opinion of yours. It's Mexican restaurant, maybe mixed restaurant. There are maybe different dishes such as American and.
Okay, it's very good discussion. Very good discussion. Alessia, what do you think?
Well, I just wanted to say that I think it's a Mexican restaurant that is situated in Texas, maybe.
Okay, Svetlana, what do you think?
Definitely. It's in Texas.
It's in Texas, okay?
Definitely.
All right. Well, I'm going to tell you, we need to know what Tex-Mex is. And let me just give you the answer to the problem, because Tex-Mex is a variety of Mexican food. It's food. And Tex-Mex means it's a kind of food, and it's the variety of Mexican food that is served in the area at the border between the United States and Mexico. Mm-hmm. That is to say, it's kind of half Mexican and half Texan, and it combines features of both of those cuisines. Tex-Mex. There are other kinds of Mexican food, but Tex-Mex is a kind of very traditional, not very fancy Mexican food. So, knowing that, what do you think about this phrase, world peace through Tex-Mex? Is it funny? Anybody think this is funny?
Yes, it is, because peace translates on food, So they mean, well, trying to food, they like peace between countries.
It's very funny. It's good. It's very, very funny. World peace through Tex-Mex. Well, that's not at all realistic. You can have world peace through negotiation. What do you get from Tex-Mex? You get a full belly, you get satisfaction, and you get satisfaction and you get pleasure. This is advertising. World peace through Tex-Mex. And all of you have determined, of course, that this sign, unlike the last one, this one is in Texas. This one is in Texas.
Very funny.
It's very funny. Okay. Let's see. Professor Smith, are you with us here? Here we go. I'm going to
the control.
Dragging you the control. There you go. You got it. Good discussion, ladies.
Before we leave the issue of humor and accent, regional language, I wanted to share a video of someone whose Texas accent is very, very famous. And you will see her coming up. On your screen. She is a very beloved figure in Texas. She passed away some years ago, but she was the governor of Texas and was a very important national political figure, but she had a very strong Texas accent and always said y'all and never said you all. And this is a little clip. In 1988, she gave a very important speech at a political convention, and she was helping the Democrats, the more left of the two main political parties in the presidential election, to try and win against George Bush the senior. So we will play a little clip of Anne here so you can hear her accent. She steps up to the stage and she talks a little bit about herself and her accent, and then she talks about women in politics, and a very famous quote she gave about women in politics. So if everybody can see and hear, I will play about a minute of this video. You may want to all please mute your mics if you would while we play the video. Thank you. Please mute your mics, we won't get an echo.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Buenas noches, mis amigos. I'm delighted to be here with you this evening, because after listening to George Bush all these years, I figured to this convention, and 2 women in 160 years is about par for the course.
Think of her accents. Sanya, I see you on the screen. What did you think? Did you understand what she said?
I don't know.
Not everything.
Sanya, did you, so you, oh yeah, so she is from Texas. Right, so she is from Texas, so she says good evening in English, and then she says good evening in Spanish. She's speaking to a national audience, but wants to underscore that she understands that there are many Spanish speakers out there. And then she came in and said, well, you've been listening to George Bush for so long, you probably needed to hear what a real Texas accent sounded like. And people really thought that was quite funny, because where were the George Bush family from? They're not from Texas originally. Mostly they're from Massachusetts, up near Maine, up in those areas where they have the wonderful blueberries. Svetlana, were you able to understand as she spoke? Could you understand her English?
Not everything. I couldn't pick up everything, because Texan accent is known to be one of the most difficult really to understand. I'm not used to it, so I would have to listen to it once more to pick out everything.
And I'll give this clip to Professor Shestakov so he can post it. She was also very famous for her hair. Did you notice the hair?
Yeah.
We would call that, Professor Lira, would we call that big Texas hair? I have to get my term right. Texas big hair. And she had that hair all throughout her life. I met her once. I think Professor Lira met her several times, and she pretty much always had that hair. And it was really remarkable if you see it in person up close. It was just as amazing. And at the end, she told a very famous quote or line. She said a very famous quote or line that she is remembered for. She's talking about the role of women in politics, and that in 160 years, there have only been 2 women who've given this key speech that she's giving. And then she talked about Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. Daria, do you know? I see you on the screen. Daria, do you know who Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers were?
No.
No, okay. Who do you think they are? Have you heard their names at all?
Are they politics too?
What was that?
Well, we should look up.
They were performers, very famous.
Yes, yes. What are they?
You'll find out.
You'll find out, okay. Does anybody know?
Oh, it's actor, right? It's actor and dancer.
Yeah, so they were performers. They were famous for a whole series of films. And in particular, Fred Astaire was very famous, and Ginger Rogers, too, for dancing and singing in their films. And if you watch a clip of them dancing and singing, the dancing is just masterful. And Professor Lira has helped us, or I'm sorry, Professor Marston has helped us with the line, trying to underscore the role of women and how proficient women can be in what they do. Governor Richard says, Ginger Rogers did everything Fred Astaire did, but she did it backwards and in high heels. What does that mean, Daria? What does that mean?
And that means that they both were very famous and they did well, but he was a man and she was a woman, but she wasn't ever worse.
She's trying to make the point that they were a dancing pair. They danced synchronously together, right? They frequently did the same moves. But if you're dancing in a pair, one of you has to oftentimes be dancing backwards, right? And if Fred Astaire was taking the lead, frequently Ginger Rogers would be dancing backwards, and he would be in flat shoes, and she would be in high heels, so her task was much, much harder. But the point that Anne was making was she may even have been the better dancer than he was. Even though he is very famous, she had to do everything backwards, and she had to do it in high heels. Why don't we play that?
What she says is high heels.
High heels, yeah.
High heels.
High heels. So it's a little hard to understand her. Let me go ahead and play that first minute again, just so you can get another taste and hear some of those things that we talked about. And at the very end, she'll talk about Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Please mute your mics.
Buenas noches, mis amigos. I'm delighted to be here with you this evening because after listening to George Bush all these years, I think that you need to know what a real Texas accent sounds like. 12 years ago, Barbara Jordan, another Texas woman,
Professor Lero also put the phrase par for the course in there. 2 women in 160 years is about par for the course. Who can help me understand that phrase? What kind of reference is that? A reference to what sport? I think we talked about golf last week, didn't we?
I think so.
I can't remember. It's a golf phrase, right? If you make par, you do the golf hole, you play through the golf hole, and you have the target number of golf shots. So, 2 women in 160 years is about what you'd expect. It's about par for the course. And so she was making the point that many times it's men on that podium making that speech and not women, even though Anne can do it with such flair and did it with such flair. And you can't see, but I'm willing to bet that up at that podium she's wearing high heels when she gives the speech. So.
Oh, absolutely.
Anne always wore high heels.
High heels.
She certainly did wear high heels. It was almost as famous for her as her big hair.
Her big Texas hair. The one time I got to meet her and shake her hand was at my graduation, and Professor Lero was there too.
I was.
When I graduated and got my doctorate, Ann Richards was the speaker, and I got to go up on the stage, and she actually handed me my diploma. And, was a very, very kind lady. Was telling jokes with people as they came up to get their degrees. We were all nervous, and she was able to put us all at ease. She was amazing. Professor Lero, you had met her a few times as well.
I've met her a few times. She was a school teacher by profession and active in the Democratic Party. And her first public office, she was a county commissioner in Travis County in Austin, Texas. And actually, she was my county commissioner. She represented me, and I had occasion to meet with her several times in that role and got to know her, and she lived in my neighborhood, and I would see her at the grocery store quite often. It was a real treat.
Always with the hair.
Always with the hair. Always with the hair. I remember. I'm going to tell you a story. I remember when George W. Bush was finally elected, and all of you remember that it was many weeks after November when the Supreme Court finally awarded the election to George Bush rather than Bob Dole. That was a very controversial election in the United States. And about a week afterwards, there was a big storm in Austin, and we lost all the power for several days. There was no power, and the power was restored. I went to the grocery store, and there was Ann Richards. And I said something like, well, Ann, what did you think of that election? What do you think about all that? And she said, that son of a bitch has been in office for 2 weeks, and we've already lost our power. and she said this loud, and people throughout the store heard her. Anyway, all right, let's see. Have we discussed the dot sub sufficiently? We started that way. Do we need to talk about that anymore, Professor Smith?
Do we want to share, Alyssa, do you want to share your translation today? Would you be ready to talk a little bit? I think you had a chance to finish it, right?
Well, I'm afraid my microphone today is working not very well.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll try to. I have to share the video.
Okay, I'm going to make you the presenter.
Thank you.
So now you can share your video.
Share.
Excuse me, do you mean that video which we had to do, right?
Right, and if you have not finished
Yes,
your
I
dot
have.
sub, and you have one as well? Okay,
Yes.
hang on. We'll do Alyssa, and then Daria will go to you.
Thank you.
And then we'll ask the others probably to share their videos next week.
Okay. This video should be with external subtitles or with internal subtitles.
Either one. Can you? Which video did you work on?
All right. Let's do with internal.
Okay. Here. Excellent.
I can't hear it.
I'm not hearing audio. So did you actually put the subtitles on it?
I can't hear the sound. That's right. Why?
Okay. Tell us a little bit about this clip. Where is the clip from, Alyssa?
Just can't understand. It is from the Soviet movie. This movie is called Carnival Night, and it was made in 1956, and it was a very long time ago. And to understand the humor, you have to understand the context of the situation in the Soviet Union at that time. It was this time was called in our country. Let me find the word just a bit. It was called the thaw.
What was the phrase, Odessa? So 1956 and the thaw. Okay. And what was a thaw? What was thawing? Odessa? Odessa, are you with us? She may be having microphone challenges, but you can see, okay, yes, her microphone is not working. You can see what she has done. She took a video clip of a film from 1956. She uploaded it from .sub, and there she is able to make some translation or do both the transcription and the translation in order to present the captions on the screen. And as you saw from Professor Shestakov at the beginning of class, that's really a two-part process. First, you have to transcribe. You have to write down what is written and or said in the original language. So first you transcribe it to Russian, in this case, and then you would translate the Russian line by line to English. And it's a surprisingly complicated task, because people talk very quickly. Professor Lero mentioned many different reasons that spoken word may look and sound very different from the written word. They may have a regional accent. They may speak just very quickly. Their pace may be very swift. And so it can be very hard to even just transcribe, much less translate. Daria, did you say you had a sample to share with us?
Yes, I have this link. So if you go there, you see my video online. But it's in my blog. I don't know how to download it here, but please go to my blog and just see it. Oh.
Okay. Tell us
Is it okay?
Bit, yeah. Tell us a little bit about what you did. What clip did you choose?
Okay. Well, my clip is Hunting for Piranha. It's trailer. It's trailer for the film. So film is called Hunting for Piranha. Piranha is a man who is hunted down by some group of people, and they have some difficult mission. They have to catch him and have some his things to have their mission done. You know.
Are they gangsters or criminals?
Yes, they are criminals.
They are criminals. Okay. And is the film modern or is it older?
Yes, both.
Both. Okay. What year was it made?
Sorry?
What year was it made?
I think last year, right? It was on in all cinemas.
Okay. And this was a Russian film, right?
Yes, Russian film. That's why I studied it, and I made titles for this. And I think if you look if you watch my presentation, definitely you will want to watch it in English.
Very nice. And what did you find the hardest part of this task? What was the most challenging for you?
Well, the most challenging was to realize how to deal with video making and how to deal with the time situation. But when I did it right, so things got better, and well, I did it easily to the end. To the end by this video. Right?
So by the time you got to the end, it was much easier.
Yes, and I'm really happy that actually we had this task, because now I know how to do titles and how to make my own video with titles and this. And thank you.
That's a very important skill. In my translation class here in the United States, I teach my students how to make subtitles and how to make captions. And there are many jobs out there for translators who work in the area of transcription and subtitling.
Yes, I did like it.
Very good. So now you have a skill you can put on your resume.
Of course.
Thank you. Thank you for mentioning that. Wonderful. And then the rest of you will talk about your work next week and share your video clip with us. Was this a very popular film in Russia, Daria?
Yes, it was. All my friends actually visited the film, and then we had just discussion on it.
Ah, very nice. And what was the Russian title of the film?
Do you want to hear a Russian speech?
So the title in Russian was what? Охота
на пиранью.
на пиранью, yeah. All right.
So I
Very
really
nice.
advise you to watch it. It's awesome.
Very nice. Well, thank you for that recommendation. That's very good. Did anybody else have a chance to do their captioning or subtitling? Before I turn it back over to Professor Lero, I should tell you that I use two words here, and they are different. Just so you know, a subtitle is when you change the language. So Alyesa and Daria did subtitles. They were speaking on the screen in Russian, and what appears on the screen for the words is in English. That's known as a subtitle. But if you put the words on the screen in the same language they are spoken, so if they speak in Russian and you put the words on the screen in Russian, that is known as a caption. And we have a lot of captions here in the United States. You can watch television with captions here in the United States, and they will be speaking in English, and the words will appear on the screen in English, no translation, and that is meant for citizens who are hearing impaired, who cannot hear the sound, but want to hear the English words spoken on the screens in English. And so as we go through our semester, we're going to talk about, you'll sometimes hear them called closed captioning. It's a wonderful way to practice your language. And I will suggest some closed captioned things you can watch. It's a wonderful way to watch a television show and have the transcript right at the bottom. It's not cheating. In fact, it's very, very good practice because you hear them say thousands and thousands of words and you read thousands and thousands of words at the same time. And it's very good for your vocabulary. It helps you develop your listening and your vocabulary quite a bit. So over the course of the semester, I will be giving you some things you can watch that are closed captioned. They are wonderful tools for language learning. Professor Lero, I think we have about 5 minutes. I'll kick it back to you. Professor Lero. Before we finish up, does anybody have any questions? We've covered a lot of themes today. We've covered humor and cartoons. We've covered accents and regional accents. We've talked a little bit about subtitling and captioning.
Yes, we talked about Ann Richards. That's my favorite part.
Ann Richards. Well, would you like to hear a little bit more of Ann Richards before we finish?
As long as you save a little minute for people to write down the thing that they got the most, that they learned the most from during this hour.
Ah, okay. Well, why don't I save Ann Richards for next week? In the few minutes we have left, could everybody please type into the chat, this will be our last act today, the thing you found most valuable, something new you learned this morning here in our class hour. So could everybody please type into the chat. Thank you, Professor Marston, for reminding me. I think Professor Lero lost his internet. Well, thank you all for your wonderful comments. I see that Tex-Mex made a big impression on everybody. Thank you all. Yes, cranberries in Maine. We will come back to those. We will talk about closed captioning some more as the semester goes on. Yulia, thank you for your comment about hearing Anne's real Texas accent. And I will bring a little bit more of the Ann Richards speech next week, which we can use as a warm-up as well. And I know Professor Lero lost his internet, but I'm sure when he joins us again, he is a big fan of Tex-Mex. So I feel certain that he will bring some Tex-Mex back into our discussions. So your assignment for next week, we will send to you, I believe Shestakov will send it in email and post it on the blog. If you have not had a chance to do your subtitling, please finish that. We are going to move to a slightly new theme next week, and that theme is going to be history. So you will also receive in your assignment a text to prepare. And it is an interesting modern media text about a historical event in the United States. And so we will move for the next several weeks to talking about history and the context that history brings to all of us as language learners. So thank you all. Have a good week. Wonderful discussions, very wide-ranging discussions today. Thank you all. Good participation by everybody. Thank you. You were a very participatory group today. That was wonderful for us.
Yes, I loved it. Great session.
It was wonderful. So see you all next week. Have a good week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
See you.
See you next week. Thank you again.